I was raised in York, Pennsylvania, went to school for a bit in Providence, Rhode Island, and then moved to New York City. And I was then a graduate student in philosophy at Columbia University. And I had gone to some meetings of an organization founded at Columbia called Student Homophile League. It was an early gay student association. And there was a person there by the name of Nino Romano, who was very active in that. And he inspired me because he was one of the first gay men that I had met who had a political consciousness that was based on gay pride. And he was very effective in articulating that. And then when I read about the Stonewall riot in the newspaper, that kind of was a turning point for me. So it was I moved from being a nebulous liberal into being a crazy radical. And GLF was very instrumental in doing that. Arthur Bell and I used to go back after meetings at GLF and say, it was very exciting, but some of those people are truly crazy. And what I liked about it was just kind of like the anarchistic release of energy, which was wonderful. I was interested then in doing reading and research because I was a graduate student. So I helped form a group within GLF called the Radical Study Group. And we were people who, some of us had academic backgrounds, but we were alienated from the system. And we had a revolutionary perspective, but we wanted to put it into a more focused, ideologically focused context. Radical Study Group was the most meaningful educational experience I've ever had in my life. When I was at Columbia and City College and at Brown, all these places that I went to, there was always a radical division in my life between the things that I was trying to learn academically and the way I was living my life concretely. That division broke down in the Radical Study Group. And what happened for me was that I integrated the interests of my personal life, including my sexual life, with my academic interests. And so all of these different energies in my life came together, focused together in a real sharp laser beam of interest. And that transformed me. One of the things that bothered me very much about GLF was that it seemed to be very inefficient in terms of getting things done. I liked what people were saying. They were saying, we have to have a revolutionary perspective on the society, which includes everyone. And we have to understand all the connections. I think that's correct. I was inspired by that. And I like the energy with which people expressed that. It just wasn't an abstract idea. People genuinely felt that in their hearts. And that was the type of fusion of thought with energy which can transform lives and make for a real revolutionary change in people's individual existence, if nothing else. That part I liked very much, and GLF was very good at doing that. What I didn't like was what seemed to me to be inefficiency in organization and inability to get things done. And there was one meeting where Jim Al stood up and announced that he was going to try to form a new group which would focus on street political activism. And I responded to that, and I went to a series of meetings with him, and that is how the Gay Activist Alliance was formed. So that was one of the early splits in GLF. I liked GAA's pragmatism and ability to get people en masse out on the streets and to be efficiently organized, but I missed the sense of an articulated revolutionary perspective, which is what GLF had. So I think that as I look back on those years, even though at the time the GA-GLF split, I eventually came to feel some antagonism toward GLF. I think in retrospect, both of those approaches were necessary. They were like two wings that allow a bird to fly. I barely get by every month, to tell you the truth. But I enjoy my writing very much, and I feel it's important to the planet in some way. Hopefully that's just not my own ego speaking.